The virus that I have for my project is Novirhabdovirus. This virus is in the Rhabdoviridae family, which also contains the mammal virus commonly known as rabies. So this virus, Novirhabdovirus, it infects many parts of the body of over 50 species of ray-finned fish in both freshwater and saltwater environments throughout the northern hemisphere. So one of its biggest symptoms is that it causes hemorrhaging muscle on the muscles, skin, and eyes, and it also causes liver and kidney abnormalities. It also affects the neuromuscular system, and in some cases, it's a neurological virus, and it causes erratic swimming, like they swim around in circles, and constant flashing, which is a rapid body movement that fish do to distract predators. So this virus is spread in many ways. Due to the fact that it infects fish, it's spread mainly through water, but it's also spread through contaminated eggs, through reproductive fluids, and urine. One of the interesting things about this virus is that survivors can become asymptomatic carriers, so they can intermittently, it's not a very big issue, but they will intermittently shed viral particles, so they can carry it throughout their lifetime. So this Novirhabdovirus, it causes the disease viral hemorrhagic septicemia. So this infection, one of the biggest symptoms is hemorrhaging throughout all body systems. So these fish, oftentimes they'll be swimming erratically throughout the water, and they'll have hemorrhaging over their bodies. And as they get really really sick towards the end of their lives, they end up getting very dark, and their eyes are sunken in, and then they end up dying. Others are asymptomatic, and they live with the disease inside of them for their entire lives, and they intermittently shed it. As of right now, there are no vaccines or antiviral medications that have been created and actually work and treat this, so there is no way to treat an infected organism. So this virus is very common throughout the northern hemisphere. So it has a circumpolar distribution, and it's native to most of the oceans in the northern hemisphere, but it is actually an invasive virus in the Great Lakes and other areas like it. So oftentimes in areas such as the Great Lakes or fish farms, so it'll have like big outbreaks just like any human virus, and there's really no way to stop these outbreaks, especially in larger areas. So in smaller ponds, though, fish farmers have been able to figure out that certain chemicals, because it's actually a very fragile virus, certain chemicals can treat it, and if you treat a dried pond with this, then the virus will die and not come back. There's no way to treat this virus. Again, there's no antiviral medication or vaccine that works. So with dying and sick individuals, you have to just let the disease run its course, which usually starts with erratic swimming, and it just gets worse and worse with total hemorrhaging throughout the body, and then they end up dying. As I've said before, the virus can also be asymptomatic, so they can carry it throughout their lives and they never know. So one last thing that I wanted to say is that this virus is actually invasive. As I've said before, it's invasive to the Great Lakes. And like many invasive species, it doesn't have the fish that live in there, they don't really have any, they're not resistant to it at all. So this has actually posed a great threat to many of the less common species of fish in the Great Lakes, especially because it affects so many species in such a very wide way. Interestingly enough, though, a lot of the things that we know about this virus only come from farmed rainbow trout and other things of that nature. Yet with some of these species that we know that it infects, we don't really know the prognosis of this infection. So we kind of have to just wait and see if we can treat it.